Going live. All right, so once again, we are discussing Justin Posey's Treasure Hunt Beyond the Map's Edge. We're going to go over the story, the Cable Conundrum, right? The first of a double set of workplace kind of set stories, right? Justin in Washington working at a tech company here, Microsoft. So we're going to go over the story, and then at the end, there is a few new things. I'm not going to take credit for them, but a few things that were discussed this weekend that I think are pretty significant. So I'm going to bring up those after the story. I don't. This is kind of a shorter story, so I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on there. But that's how. Then I'll just engage with chat and see what's going on. So that's the plan for today. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. The Cable Conundrum. We're on page 134, and it starts out. Justin has referenced his tour de fails before, referencing the whole book. So this is a specific story that mentions his tour de fails, right? So we get into it. It's interesting, he's very, very humble, very starting out about how he had stage fright with his early interviews. And I think anybody, or maybe not anybody, there's some people out there that are natural interviewers, but I'll say some people, when they're first entering the professional market, whatever field they're in, experience a little bit of interview jitters or stage fright with their first couple interviews, especially if it's a big company, big opportunity, big dollars on the line, right out of college or first entering the job market. Hey, Mr. Underhill, how you doing? So what's going on? So we can understand it. Now Justin looks pretty polished, right? So I mean, he's had several years to work on it. But it ends up working for him because he gets all his nervous interviews out of the way early on, and then he does pretty well with Google and Microsoft, that's probably the way you want to do it, right? Get your fails out of the way with smaller companies and nail it with a big one. And so whether or not some people have called into question, did he actually forget his birth year? Hey, Belug, what's going on? Nice little cat there. How you doing? Whether he actually forgot his birth year or not, can I say Libby? Libby, what's up, Libby? Is Libby the name of the dog, or are you Libby? So whether or not he actually forgot his birth year, or is that a code? Is that something he's trying to tell us? A lot of people have been digging into that, saying there's no way you forget your birth year. That's obviously a code. If it is a code, I don't know what it's for or what it means, if it's a technical clue or not. So I kind of move on past that. But hey, namaste. What's going on? Nathan Gonzalez, how you doing? Little Cheesy, what's up? New to the stream. So this is a kind of a book club, I guess. We go over, there's a treasure hunt out there. It's in the American West. If you live in America, if you live in one of the Western states, you probably want to get into this because there's about $1 million in gold and treasure just hidden out there. A treasure hunter put it out, a treasure hunt creator put it out there. So, yeah, yeah, I've heard that before. Doyle, that's a good one. Just getting all excited. Sniper's dream. That's hilarious. All right, so moving on with the Cable Conundrum, right? Page 134. He's moving away from Tucson. He's going up. If you have clouds involved in your solve at all, you want to pay attention to that because he says Washington State beckoned with its cloudy skies, right? And then we have cloud covers repeated like 3 times on this one page, 135. So if you have clouds involved or somehow you think Silent Flight is getting clouds, Washington State is a pretty strong contender for that, right? What's going on, Sylvester? What's going on? Number 2, all right, leading the chat. Nathan's number 1. I subscribe. Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it. So, like I said, if you live in one of the Western states, it's probably a good channel to follow, especially if you like hiking and being outdoors, because this one's not an armchair hunt. You actually have to go out and get the gold. King Catcher, what's going on, man? Hey, what's up? Miss Limon, how you doing? All right, so next page we get to he has a habit of fidgeting, right? And if you look at the scenes of the Netflix documentary, which if you don't know, hey Florida girl, how you doing? Which if you don't know, the author of this book actually appears in a Netflix documentary called Golden Greed, where he launches his treasure hunt. So if you're new to the channel, you don't know what's going on, that's a great place to start if you have Netflix, all right? So a lot of his desks are full of random objects. Like the desk is so cluttered to the point where he's working on it looks like a Raspberry Pi type configuration, and he says it's something like close to X-ray vision. It just feels to me like a person who, as organized as Justin is, right? We know how he organizes his fridge. There's no way that desk would be that cluttered in a working environment, so it's obviously intentional, right? So the story is he's fidgeting. Again, I'm not a really big tech guy. I don't really know a lot about packets and servers and data cables and all that because I've heard some people talk about that the way he's described this denial of service attack could not happen the way he described. Bruh, what's up? Hi, how you doing? Sylvester, number 2 in there. Million gold when he hit it, golds went up. Yeah, hey, so and gold keeps going up, right? So same with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's still up. There's gold and Bitcoin in there. So it looks like the prize is ever increasing as we go. But I'm not focused too much because I'm not big on the technical side, so I don't really focus too much on the details of how he describes his denial of service attack. Briefly, to those of you who are curious and don't know what I'm talking about, he describes being, he has to present a, what do he have to present? He has to do some kind of presentation. He's presenting a new technical design, right? So tech clue, technical design, who knows? He's presenting a new technical design and he's fidgeting. And he's got this data cable, which I can kind of see it. You know, you're talking, looking at a screen, you've got something in your hands. And when it's all said and done, he puts the cable back, right? I guess if you don't know when you picked it up in your head, you're playing with it, and then you come to, you realize what you're doing, you're like, oh, let me put this back. You see an open data port, maybe that's where it went. So he goes about his day. Shortly after, Microsoft was say the network goes down, the corporate network goes down, and so everyone's freaking out. You know, what's the analogy he says? It's akin to a Chicago bar running out of alcohol on St. Patty's Day. So everyone's freaking out. They go over hey, how much is Microsoft losing per minute per hour? And it turns out, so this part's a little interesting. It turns out that some techie figures it out and figures out that a network cable was plugged in at both ends. Right, so again, I've had people walk me through why this is bad. I think I kind of understand it. To me, I've decided it's not that important to understand why that's bad. Just know that if the same cable is plugged into 2 different ports on the same network, it creates a loop that's bad. I hope I explained that correctly. But so he was the culprit, right? And so he replies all, which if anyone works at a big company, you know, kind of there's like a meme, a joke about reply alls. Right, I've been at a few, I guess 2 Fortune 500 companies where there's a reply all chain and somebody hits reply all and then someone else is like, hey, stop hitting reply all, but they reply all, and then someone else says, hey, stop replying all, and it's kind of just a thing that consumes the day and consumes a lot of memory and burns a lot of money for what should be a joke, right? Ozzy Osbourne, what's going on? Little shout out, I guess, to them. Animate Bro said hi. What's going on? Deborah LaCroix. But he replies all, right, and says, hey, I'm sorry, that's me, right? It says, fully expecting an lynching, right? And then his inbox gets flooded with positive reactions, range from OU to you just made my day. So I take this a couple ways, and I haven't heard anyone clarify. I thought someone at the Dylan Q&A was going to ask Justin to clarify. I still, let me know what you think, I guess, when you're watching this video and you comment. When they're replying back to you just made my day or OU, do they think Justin did it, or do they think Justin is like falsely saying, oh, my bad? Like, right? Like if, here's an example. Like if you're working at a company and there's a lightning strike and the power goes down, it'd be like somebody saying, my bad. Like it couldn't really be them. So in my head, that was the first scenario. Like, oh, there's this big reply all, there's this big corporate email saying, hey, this is what happened, somebody did this. And then Justin replies all and says, yeah, that was me, my bad. And people are responding favorably. So, I mean, I can see it both ways. They're either, it's a favorable reaction to, hey, good on you for taking credit and owning it. Like, okay, yeah, ha 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 ha, that's funny. Or like, oh, you're such a prankster, like you're saying that was you. I don't know. And I don't know if it really means anything. We have a Big Food Channel dropping some chords in the chat. So maybe they cracked the code. Maybe they figured it out from this story. And if anyone wants to go check out or lives near those coordinates, 79 south, 81. I don't know if that's in North America. Because I've been looking normally the western latitudes. Well, North America, don't we range from like 50 to 20? Larry! Oh no, where'd it go? Yeah, freshly shaved this morning. Hopefully I didn't miss any spots. I don't know. It's pretty shiny. Fills up your whole screen. All right, so and that's it, right? So there's one small little joke at the very end where after he takes credit and replies to everyone, The next day his badge doesn't work, which that's kind of an old joke too. If you work at a corporate place that has a badge, I've made it myself several times. You scan your badge, the badge reader doesn't work. Oh, I guess I got fired. Ha ha ha. Right. Um, and then and that's it. It's a very short story. One, two, three pages really. Not even full pages. It's probably 2 full pages of text. So that's kind of all I want to do. That. What do you do? Well, my day job is I work in like lower level management at a Home Depot distribution center. So kind of just unloading boxes out of trucks and putting them on shelves and loading them in other trucks and sending them out. So kind of mundane. So my hobby is I get online, I get made fun of for having no hair, and I talk about treasure hunts. Uh, it's a little edgy, but no, I do not do any of that, Mikey. All right. Maybe, maybe. All right. So the story cover is done. It's now we're gonna move on to some of the discussions from this past weekend, involving some Netflix clues, mainly involving Netflix clues. All right. So again, if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a show on Netflix called Golden Greed. It's about a treasure hunt that lasted about a decade, and it was found, and one of the treasure hunters bought the treasure that was found and rehid some of it, and so now he created his own book, and so we're kind of discussing that right there. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it, Blue. All right. All right. So Netflix. All right. So we've talked about the Declaration of Independence, right, in the back, and I'm calling it the Declaration of Independence because, as from what I've seen, it matches up pretty closely. I haven't really heard any other alternatives to what that could be. So if somebody has an alternative for what it could be, then put that forward in the chat and we'll discuss it. But the scene, it's in the background. It's lit. It's lit in a nice little protective cover. And if you go to the Saddleback Leather Company, which is the company he credits as from the briefcase, right? He says that he got this briefcase that they show the picture in, which actually I got a picture of it right here we can show. It's just good, clean living, Blue Pig, and you can do it yourself, man. All you gotta do is take a razor to whatever you got going on there, put a little bit of lotion on it, polish it right up. So we've got this is the briefcase right here, right? So it's in the book, it's in the Netflix doc. It shows a bunch of gold coins, some jewelry, some emeralds in there, a little meteorite rock. There's a Bitcoin cold storage in there, and he says that briefcase, that's not what it's actually hidden in. That's just for display purposes. And so we figured out that briefcase was sold from the Saddleback Leather Company. And if you go to their website, you can find that they also have a Declaration of Independence for sale, and it really does look it's pretty smooth, man. It's pretty smooth right now. Agent 47. So if you buy 2 things from a website, the odds that you'll buy 3 things from a website kind of goes up a little bit, right? So like, right, if you guys see me with a Nike shirt on, and if I've got Nike sweatpants on, that's 2 things. It's a pretty good chance that I've got something else Nike, right? If you only ever see me with a Nike shirt and nothing else, that's just 1 thing. Hey, maybe I don't have anything else Nike. But if you see 2 things, I think you can go for 3. Whisper Lion, what's going on? And I believe Katie was the one that pointed out to me. She saw that, hey, in this one scene, he's wearing a leather backpack, which looks suspiciously like other leather products that the company sells. So now that's 3 things, right? Face paint on Vic. All good stuff, all hilarious. You guys should all be comedians. But thanks, man, for yeah, Sam Walker. So that's something new to look into, is the Saddleback Leather Company website, because if he's bought 3 things from there, right, and you can look in the documentary yourself and see the leather backpack. What else on that site is important? He's directing it to us because he tells us what that briefcase, who sells it, right? Because I'm sure we'd find out what it was eventually, but for him to actually say, hey, this is the company I got my briefcase from, it seems pretty important. No worries, Vic. It's all in good fun. Whisper Lion, what's going on? Everything that has legs. What's going? Everything. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, Doug. It's I don't go live too often, but this is just a short one. I'm more of a daytime. I go live versus nights. PD. All right, but so the Saddleback thing was discussed earlier. The other thing that's been discussed lately is putting Netflix clues together, right? So I'm gonna throw out an example. You can do it differently, but this is kind of just an example. So the scene where he's wearing the New Zealand hat, he's speaking, and behind him is a pronghorn, which shout out to Montana Josh for teaching me a cool new nickname. They're also called speed goats. I'd never heard that. I thought that was hilarious. But so he's speaking in front of a pronghorn, right? And he's wearing a New Zealand hat. And so a way you would combine that is if you've heard my New Zealand speech to that brings you to Idaho, a very short recap. I can't remember if I've done this on video or not. I don't think I've done it on live. But his New Zealand hat has the Maori word for New Zealand right above New Zealand. And if you follow that, it's land of the long white cloud was the original name. And in the definition, you can find clear and bright because the language uses 3 words that mean 3 different things, but when you're put together, they mean something, which I believe is how the clue is supposed to work. And he tells you that in itself. In the Dylan Q&A, we don't know this originally, but in the Dylan Q&A, he went and said, I don't have it in front of me, but he said that some of the clues are combination clues. You need to watch several scenes to put them together, right? So combination clues in Netflix, the word, original word, the native word for New Zealand is a combination word in itself. You put it together, the middle word means clear and bright, which is from the second stanza. So you look for land of the long white cloud, brings you to the White Cloud Peaks in Idaho. And if you look at the pronghorn, right, the pronghorn, they range in Idaho. Well, they're all over the West. Like a lot of the Rocky Mountain states have places where the pronghorn live. And in Idaho, they range from they have a summer and a winter home, and they go from the pioneers, right? There's 2 pioneers. So there's the pioneers in Montana, but there's also pioneers in Idaho, which again, plays into the double. That's the alliteration of the poem. That seems to be a common recurring theme. And they run from the pioneers to Craters of the Moon. And they run back and forth through there. And it's protected a lot of that area. No hunting's allowed and stuff like that. But so that's a way of assembling. Hey, okay, cool, Froggy. The hat from New Zealand gets you to land along White Cloud. Well, there's a bunch of White Cloud mountains and rivers and lakes all over the West. How do we know Idaho? Well, you tie into the pronghorn, and you find out, is there a place where the pronghorn are on the white cloud in the area, right? And so that's one example, whether you believe it or not, whether you're going to use it or not, that's one example of how to use Netflix clues in combination, right? Another one would be a very easy 42 in the mountains, right? Everyone says the 42 on the tail light, and the mountains are the peaks or the whatever designs are drawn on the back. How would you use them together? Well, you'd look for a mountain range on the 42nd parallel. It would be a pretty easy one to do. A more complicated one. All right, let's see. We got some chat here going on here. Catch up. Daddy said hi. Oh, what's up, Daddy? Don't talk, don't sleep. Can't. There's treasure involved. Live, Idaho, solve. How much are hotel rooms in Sun Valley this month? All right. Yeah, probably. And save it for dogs in general, right, Petey? All right. So another one. So those are 2 easy examples, right? Justin's in the scene. He's wearing the hat. He's got the pronghorns right here, kind of in focus / Those are easy to put together. Now, Justin has said when asked about the Netflix clues, right? This is from the Dylan Q&A. He said he couldn't control the focus, the frame, right? Alliteration again, double F's. Focus of the frame or the scene order. So he wasn't sure what would be in focus or out of focus, or what would be in frame or out of frame, right? But when he looked back through, he saw that okay, there's enough things made it in that you can assemble 5 singular clues, right? There's 5 singular clues at least, right? So, okay, those were 2 easy examples, right? The 42 in the mountains and then the hat and the pronghorn. Let's look at a more complicated one to see how it could work. The lock. The lock is in 2 different locations at least. It appears on the monitors on top of a keyboard, right? Lock and key, that's kind of a fun little combination. But then it appears in the safe already next to, unless he has 2 locks, which, I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibilities to have 2. We've only ever seen one. It looks like the same one. There's never 2 on screen at the same time. But I would kind of make a connection tying those together. Okay, lock and key, lock in front of the images, and then the lock is in the safe next to the meteorite that's being taken in and out. And so you would kind of try to assemble some kind of singular thought or singular message. And this is where I fool around with it. I haven't really got very far with it, but this is where you could play around with. You hear Coolma. Coolma talks about this a lot. I'm blanking on the name, but someone is going to pop in the chat. I know what it is. Say my name. Say my name. My name is Solomon. What's up, Solomon? Sully's Motorfest. What's going on? Say hi to Crystal. Hello, Crystal. I'm sad because my dog died. I'm sorry, Simon. That's rough. I'll try to limit the dog talks. Dinosaur, you are too bald. I am also bald. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Bald head. Nice egg. Nice painting. Hey, I always shout out my. I put this in almost a lot of the lives I do. This is my aunt's partner. She passed away a couple years ago from cancer, and so she was a really amazing lady. Her story is just amazing. Like uh, single female sailor sailed her on her sailboat all over. Dock in California, was sailed to Hawaii. Like just like went to Africa. Like incredible woman. But also talented artist and just some of her artwork. So I like to show it off. It's nice. It's better than just my bald head on a screen, right? At least there's a little bit of art. Okay, back to what Kumar was saying and what this thing is. Rebus, that's right. That's what it is. Rebus. Yeah, something. Okay. Thank you, Wavelength. So I'm trying to think if maybe there's some sort of rebus, right? I haven't been able to get anything to work. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. Would that be considered a cipher? Maybe, and so that's one thing that I would discount. Okay, well, if there's only one cipher and it doesn't involve math or not, or if you find I don't know, I don't get too far in it, but I do kind of play around with that a little bit. Lock as in an email address. Yeah, it could be. I mean, lock on the key. Lock is on the keyboard in front of the monitor. Monitor is a screen. Screen lock. It's in a safe place next to coins, and yeah, I don't know, but that's just one of the more complicated ways where you would have a combination clue. All right. So again, that's just something I'm playing around with this weekend. I'm trying to think of any other big news that's happened. I think most people know about about the New Zealand hat. We discussed the saddleback this morning, which I think is a pretty big find. Other people have good ideas, but I don't want to take their credit, so I'm not going to share their ideas. But yeah, if you're not in Discord, man, you got to get in there. There's some really good stuff happening. All right, so let's check out the chat and see if things going on. If not, we'll pop out and get back to Discord because I'm getting ready to interact with you guys. I took a long lunch and I watched. I try to watch one treasure hunt movie a day on my days off. So this day was No Country for Old Men. Some of you might not say it's a treasure hunt movie, but a guy finds like a bunch of cash, so it's kind of like treasure for me. So I count it as a treasure hunt movie. All right, anyone else getting burned out? Do you think the recent update will get people? So I do think the recent update got everybody re-energized, but I noticed like a day or two afterwards, there was really a big lull. So that's the downside of using like a big dopamine rush is your body kind of like, after it's down, right? So I think we're still early enough and people still have enough boots on the ground and excitement and the weather is still pretty good for most of the country that we're still on an uptick. You might see a little bit of a burning out if this year goes by. We get to the winter months and nothing's really found. But I think, I mean, like I said, Justin said that he expects to sing the role on stages. I think he's watching and monitoring it pretty closely. And I'm expecting like an action-filled ride start to finish. Like, it's been pretty much that way for me. Just when I think, man, this has been a slow week, magically Justin comes on and is like, I don't know, comment, and then we all go wild, right? So I think he's doing his best to make sure that we're all entertained and we're going to get our money's worth for what we're into. All right, here we go. Defeated, holy bald, and energized. It's like an espresso martini. Uppers and downers, right? Mixing them together. There we go, PD Pablo. Of course, it uses Discord. PDF file. How many days off? How many days off? I have currently 4 days off right now. I work 3 days a week. So it seems like nice. You're like, oh, that's pretty cool. They are 3 very long days. And I don't know. I don't get to see my wife as much because she works a traditional schedule, like a Monday through Friday. So we don't really overlap as much. It's a little bit bummed out after that. He wrote an email address in the book in Dylan, and it had the word cloud in it. Like, Jackie, there's a lot of things that, okay, I haven't shared this on camera, but I'll share it on camera. I've shared this on Discord, so it's not a really big secret. But I believe my second stanza is like 99%. I'm locked in on it. And that's why I've been sharing it a lot, because I haven't heard too many detractors. So whether they're keeping their detraction quiet, so I can go down this fake rabbit hole that they know is fake, I don't know. But I'm pretty solid that the second stanza is in the, near the White Cloud Peaks region in Idaho. It's a location in Idaho. So there's, I'll say this on camera, why not? There's a place called The Hole, all right? And you can't find it on AI unless you've already told AI where it is. If you haven't heard of this place before, if you ask AI to find a place called The Hole in Idaho, it just will not return. If the basic AIs, right? If you have some super secret jailbreak AI, maybe you can get there. But I've tested it out with several AIs. I've used other people's accounts who aren't in the treasure hunt. So I'm like, hey, go to your thing and type this in to see if you can get this return, and they can't. So I mean, unless maybe your AI is better than everyone else's, but most AIs that I've seen and interacted with will not return this place. So shout out King Elijah, what's going on? MMXI. So the hole in Idaho, it's a real place, and that's the hole I'm using for around the hole, or possibly around the hole, right? And there's a nice little tie-in again because I think this solve is going to have a little bit of humor in it, right? And one of the things I found is in the Posey land, right? Why not? We're on this. We'll go ahead and read it out. So Posey land, right? There's talking about it's a core memory, right? Because we're looking for memories in time associated with water. It's a core memory with him, his brother, his dad, his grandfather, right? All males right there. Nice, solid 3-generation family outing. And they're fishing, and he mentions, oh, that sounds like Old Man Johnson, right? This might be Old Johnson's grandson, all right? Oh, that's definitely Old Johnson, right? And it's the name of a fish, right? And so with all the talk about the fen hunt and there being, home of Brown, Mr. Brown, right? So there's Johnson Lake right past the hole, and that's where you're fishing. That's where you're going to cast your pole and find. And so that's a nice little. I might put out a more detailed solve on it later, throw out some graphics, but again, I'm pretty sure my stanza 2 is pretty solid, unless Justin comes out and says nobody has found any more than the first 2 clues. Then I'll be like, okay, well, yeah, that's a bummer. But I'm pretty solid on that one. What else? Shout out King Elijah. What's going on, man? I think Justin should take a vacation. I don't know. I think Justin likes to work. And I think he enjoys working on stuff that's fun for him. I think he's working on something big. Goth Boy Zen. What's going on, Goth Boy? Hey, buddy's a backpack there. Oh, in Idaho, around the hole. Johnson. Oh, I forgot the best part. Johnson Lake. In the shadow of Johnson Lake is Brown Lake. Right? How funny is that? PTL. Thanks, man. Alan K. What's going on, buddy? All right. If there's not anything else to chat, we're gonna end it. But any other questions, feel free to throw them up, and I'll do my best to answer them. But I normally like to go for 30 minutes, and then I'll be right back in Discord with you guys, chopping it up. And so here's the whole. Oh, did I freeze? Oh no, not frozen. Okay, so here's the whole thing about. I should have said this as a disclaimer before. I don't think the treasure's in Idaho. That's the thing. So the way most of my solves have worked is that each stanza leads to somewhere else. Like I'm probably a couple days away from revealing the 3rd stanza, especially if I get stuck and can't go anywhere else. Then I'll be forced to get some help. But I don't think the treasure's in Idaho. I think that the answer to the 2nd stanza is a place in Idaho, but you're going to use that later on somewhere toward the end. All right, so get out of here, man. Stop it, PD. Get out of here. Quit playing. Yeah, exactly, Sam Walker. I don't think it'd be there, but it'd be a great. I've only driven through like a corner of Idaho. I've never really explored it, so I would like to go. Craters of the Moon looks like an amazing place. Sawtooth looks like an amazing place. A lot of great things. Look there, fries. All right. I'm not gonna drag this out. We're gonna cut it, and I'll see you guys in Discord. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the shout outs. And thanks for a couple people have started ordering the t-shirts and the merch. So really appreciate that. Carla Clapper. Hey, how you doing? Howdy. All right. We're getting out of here.